stumble across a shifter, too. It was everything I'd ever wanted. But lately, the job had been weighing on me. Dread replaced the adrenaline I used to feel every time that phone rang. Seeing my brother and two of my sisters find their mates and settle down was making me reevaluate what I wanted in life. I was about to turn 30, and that felt like a huge milestone to me. There was so much more I wanted to do in my life. My body protested as I rolled out of bed and jumped into the shower. I kept the water on the cool side to help me wake up and made a cup of coffee the second I got out. I used to love sugar and flavored creamers in it, but now, straight black. The stronger, the better, was the most practical way for me to take it. As he knew I would be, I arrived at precisely 4:50, parked my car and walked towards the plane that was already awaiting my arrival. Jacob was sitting inside as I stowed my bag in its usual compartment and took a seat next to him. It wasn't long before the captain checked on us, closed the hatch, and prepared for takeoff. I finally turned to Jacob. "Now what is this all about? And why are you here?"
"Clara, you know I oversee every mission."
"Yes, but why are you actually here? It must be something big to drag you personally out of bed at this hour." Jacob nodded sadly.
"I'm afraid that's a real possibility. There's a zoo down in a small town north of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got word they were dealing in exotic species. Clara, there's a strong possibility we'll find some shifters there."
"Some?" I gulped.
"I'm afraid so, hence the necessary emergency. My men on the ground said it was the most gruesome job they'd ever seen."
"Okay."
"Okay."
"Let's go save some animals," I said, my adrenaline kicking up a notch just from hearing him talk. While still in the air, pictures and information started arriving. Jacob and I looked over each of them. Caged animals, starving animals, signs of massive torture. Several animals confirmed dead on sight. I had to fight back tears just looking at the photographs and hearing their reports. I had gone into veterinary science for this exact purpose, but it broke my heart to know my services were desperately needed in this place of death. "What has become of the owners?" I asked.
"We're still looking for them. A neighbor called in a complaint from the stench. She claimed it was far worse than the usual smells. By outward appearances, the couple that owned the zoo was on the up and up. I have a friend looking deeper into it all," Jacob explained. He never mentioned his friends by name or anything personal. Most of the time, I didn't want to know. I'd witnessed the reach of his power and depth of his knowledge of my kind. Humans weren't supposed to know about shifters, but the Verndari certainly did, and their range was far and wide. After the briefing, I fell asleep and slept most of the flight. As usual, Jacob had a small airfield probably no one had ever heard of lined up for our landing. There was a large SUV waiting to drive us to the zoo. The moment we arrived, my wolf was on edge like I'd never felt before. The conditions we found the animals in were beyond disturbing, by far the worst I'd ever encountered. I fought back tears as a team passed by with dead bodies that needed to be disposed of as I set to work on those still holding on for dear life. I met my team right away. There were 5 of them, the largest I'd been allocated for a job. It was further proof of just how horrifying the situation was. I gathered them together and tried to rein in my emotions. "Hey everyone, I'm Clara. You'll be reporting to me today. The first thing we're going to do is triage the situation." I passed out folders to each of them with cards to attach to each animal. Green meant the animal was healthy and stable enough to wait to be checked out, but likely okay. Yellow was a higher priority that would need some minor medical treatment. Red was major injury that required immediate attention. But blue meant their life was in jeopardy, and they were the highest priority. Go through quickly and give each animal a full assessment. If they look okay, mark them green and move on. If you come across a blue and they can be moved, I have a mobile clinic being set up as we speak. It will be in the center of the park and is circled on the map. I've already divided the zoo into 5 sections. Each of you needs to focus on just your section for triage. If you cannot get a blue patient back to the clinic, use the radio in your triage kit to call me. For anyone new...